happy holidays.
And Merry Christmas to all of you.
From Cutting Edge.
Today we're going to take you through an all-time classic.
Duck à l'orange, which is excellent for holiday dinners.
Perfectly cooked duck breast. Savory orange sauce over top to die for.
And we will show you step by step to dazzle your friends and family.
Stick around. Well, for a successful duck à l'orange, the most important element is the sauce.
Much more than the duck itself?
Yeah, well, the duck is a forgiving bird to cook, actually, so that's the easy part. The sauce, that's where the key is in this. Okay. And right now, we have a pot here. Oh, that smells so good. That is 1 liter of our homemade chicken stock and 250 milliliter of our beef stock.
Liquid gold.
Absolutely, actually, absolutely. But now we want to reduce that down so it becomes thick and viscous, so we get a really nice base on the sauce.
By the way, see link below how to make that liquid gold.
True. There is 2 links, of course. But while that's working its way there in the pot, we are going to get on with our duck breasts. I have here 2 beautiful duck breasts, and we are going to score the skin so that we can get some salt on them while we go on with the other elements of the sauce. So you want to score it through the skin, like in a cross pattern like this, so they look good. And also the skin will shrink when you sear it, and you don't want it to curl up the duck breast.
Below,
exactly. So we give it a good score. Don't cut too deep, just through the skin. And that will help us get some salt into the fat, and then when the fat renders out, that will be a beautiful element in our sauce. Oh, this is gonna be so good. I mean, actually, duck is one of those birds that are so forgiving that you can actually successfully cook it as a whole bird. That is difficult with chicken or with turkey because then the breasts, they get dry. But duck, you can cook it all the way to well done and it still tastes delicious. So, open them up a bit and we go in with some sea salt here. Get it into the carvings you made. And don't be stingy, you want to have salt in the in this, because we're not salting the other side, we're only salting on this, so when the fat renders, that will salt the meat for us. That's about it. Now we're going to move this to the fridge for 1 to 2 hours when we do the magic with the sauce. Next step, let's talk about fruits. And obviously we need oranges. But, and there is a big but.
So it's a however.
Let's call it a however. Yeah? Okay, you watch too much Friends. Anyway, in today's recipe, that's grown over the years, the sauce has become very, very sweet. Of course, that's okay if that's what you like, but the original recipe was made with what's called bigarade oranges. And we actually have a bigarade tree in our orchard.
Of course we have.
But for the sake of showing you how to mimic the taste of the actual à l'orange sauce.
Which was more bitter and...
Yeah, they are more bitter and sour. They are typically made for marmalade, these oranges. And they can be difficult to come by. So that's why we've decided we're going to show you how you can do it with navel oranges and lemon juice, which actually there are quite some recipes out there calling also for this mix, but it's missing a bitter component. So we're going to add some grapefruit, also from our orchard, to the mix. And that's going to make that bitter component that has to be in the background. But before we juice any of these, we're going to need some of the zest. So with a regular potato peeler, we're going to take out some layers here of the zest. Nice. Ooh, that smells nice. The oils in here, they're fantastic. And when we get those off, we're going to stack them on top of each other. And then we are going to cut them really fine julienne. So you get some thin strips, and we are doing this to get some of the oils which are hiding in the zest into the sauce and also for presentation. So you get strips that looks like this, and I'm going to continue with the rest of my fruits. We're going to blanch the zest, have a small pot here of boiling water. We give it not more than 2 minutes in the warm water, and then we take it into ice water to cool it off immediately so we keep the texture. And there we have our julienne zest, all cooled down and nice. Next step is to make a gastrique. And that sounds very fancy, but actually it's pretty damn simple. 100 grams of sugar, and a little bit of water. The water measurement doesn't really matter. It's just so that it can dissolve the sugar so we don't burn it. And then we're going to caramelize this. And that, of course, will evaporate the water, but that's the whole idea. So we bring this up on medium-high heat, and then we let that go till we have a brown caramelized substance, and then we do the last step of this one. Now we've been boiling for 5 minutes or so, and all the water has evaporated, and now it's getting thick. All we want to do now is wait till we start getting some browning, but be careful not to burn it here, because it can easily burn, so keep an eye on it. You see the color is starting to get there. Now it's light brown, but we want it to get over almost to mahogany or something like that. But you see how fast this goes now? But keep steering here, because you want caramel and you want that dark caramel flavor, but you don't want burned. There we are. And now we kill the heat. And now comes a little trick here that you have to be very careful. Look at the color now. Dark, dark brown.
And it
mahogany.
smells really nice.
Yeah. Now comes a little trick, and this is dangerous. We add 130 milliliter of red wine vinegar. But if you put all of this in now, you will have an explosion of sugar all over the place. So you put in a little bit, swirl it around. Give it a little bit more, swirl it around. And now we can dump in the rest. And then we put it back on the heat, and we bring it back to a simmer. Just to make it all combined. This is just for half a minute to a minute. And then our gastrique is ready. One thing here, we need maybe 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of this, but you cannot make such a small quantity. So the rest of this you can put in a jar and reheat it and use it again, because it has a shelf life of forever, 17 years. That's done. And look, it looks like red wine. Kill the heat, and we move to the other stove to do the rest. Remember those? Now they've been brining a little bit in the fridge, and they're looking good. Now we want to add them to a cold, dry pan, skin side down. And then we're going to start this up on low flame, so it starts rendering out the fat slowly. Dog fat is fantastic for frying. So when you do it like this, you also want to render it out so that you get rid of some of it, because otherwise it becomes too fatty. While they start warming up, we're going to continue with our sauce. We get rid of this, and look how much it has reduced and how thick it's gotten. This is just fantastically beautiful. So, next step is our fruit party here.
The citrus party.
Yeah, we're going to add to our sauce, and then we're going to bring it back to a simmer. Because now, obviously, it gets thinner. So now you want it to reduce a little bit, and you want some of the water from the juice to evaporate, so the flavors, they intensify. So back to a simmer, and then we let that simmer for 5-10 minutes before we move on again. Ooh, that smells good. Let's see how our ducks, they're coming along. And as you can see, we get a lot of fat rendering out of this. But let's take a peek here, see how it looks.
Ooh.
Oh, it needs a little bit more, but it's definitely getting there. We want some more browning. But as you can see over here, after we introduced our fruits to the sauce, we are getting some yellow scum, and that you have to skim off. So in with a spoon and get it out, so we don't get a cloudy sauce at the end. So we want to take that out. That helped a little bit. Let it create some more. And the duck looks good. And now I want to introduce a bit of rosemary. Don't put this too early, because then it just burns. You want it to give out some aroma to the fat here while they are going at it here. Ooh. The aromas coming out of that is just magnificent. Now I think it's time to flip the birds. So, yeah, look at that. That's just gorgeous. That would be so beautiful for presentation. Now we want to get a good sear on the other side, so they look also pretty there. I think our breasts, they are about ready. Let's have a look. Ah, that's just beautiful. Let me just get a Pyrex here. And then we're going to put them, small Pyrex, like that. Kill the heat. And we put these in the oven, middle rack, 160 degrees. And then we will monitor the temperature. I'm not putting in a big temperature probe because that will destroy the presentation in these beautiful ones. So I'll test it with my little thermopen. And now look at all that beautiful fond we have left here in the pan. I took out a little bit of the fat so it's not too fatty, but we are going to utilize that because you don't want to let all that flavor go. So we move this over on our small burner, and then we're going to add our sauce reduction to the pan. So we can use that to deglaze the pan and get all that beautiful fond worked into our sauce. It's gonna be fantastic. And use a wooden spoon to scrape it all off. Let's give our breast a temperature check here. We are looking for late 60s for, let's say, a medium sort of temperature. Ooh, this is already at 69. 68, that's perfect. I'm gonna pull these, give them some foil and let them rest for 10 minutes while we finish the sauce. And the finishing touches on our sauce, we are going to introduce some of our gastrique here. And be careful, little by little, it's sweet and it's tangy. So let's go in with, let's call it 2 teaspoons at the first instance here. And then we see, let's stir that in. Because that is the sweet and sour backdrop you want, because it's a savory sauce. It shouldn't be like very forward sweet and sour, but it has to be there somewhere. Oops, wrong spoon. Now let me give this a taste, just to see how we are on salt and pepper and stuff.
Is that good?
It's perfect. It's perfect. We need a spoon more of that. A pinch of salt, some freshly cracked black pepper, not too much, and we're going to give it 1 more spoon of this, 1.5, because you need a little bit more. Like that, and now I think we have a perfect sauce à l'orange.
Did you know that this actually recipe is not from France? It's
No,
Italian.
Really?
Yeah, it's from Florence. And
s-
when Caterina de' Medici, you know, from the rich family, married to the son of the king of France, she took it with her, together with the bechamel and the crepes.
That's news.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
also
see.
didn't know.
Let me see if this helps. That I didn't know. I thought it was French.
No. Florence, baby.
Perfection. Absolute last thing. We kill the heat and we add our zest. Get all of it out of here.
I don't want to cook the zest.
No, I just want to warm up in the sauce a little bit. That's mostly for, I mean, of course it's the essential oils in the peel that gives nice flavor, but it's also for presentation. This will look very pretty over our duck breast. All that's left to do now is plate it up and serve it. Well, the duck is absolutely perfect. Take a look at that. That is just a beautiful plate. All that's left to do now is to put on our beautiful sauce here. I mean, it smells so good. It's fantastic. And we slather that over our duck. Look at that. It's so beautiful. I definitely won't be annoyed if anybody would put this plate in front of me, that's for sure.
No, it's like, it looks like art.
It's beautiful. And actually the duck is cooked to perfection. It's a little bit pink, not overcooked. It's excellent. So, time for me to give it a try, because this can only be good.
What's the verdict?
That is goddamn near perfect. It's savory, the sauce. It has a little backdrop of sweet and sour. It doesn't have any that overly sweet that I don't like. You can go as sweet as you want, obviously, but this here, that is the perfect duck à l'orange, in my opinion. Give this a shot.